Hello friends, myself A.K. Agrawal. I am associate with AIC since 2007 and I'm working here since last 7 years. Today's we discuss the topic physical words and its measurement. As you see, physics. Physics is the science of happening natural study of natural phenomena. Any scientific study of natural phenomena is called physics. When we term natural phenomena, it can be anything like raining, lightning, anything that you see around you, it is called physics. And if you want to study that natural phenomena, you need to follow a scientific method. That scientific method, when I'm termed scientific method, is it go through a certain process, and that process contains 5 steps. As you look for that, whenever anything will happen, you have to face a problem. This is your first step of a scientific method. When you have a problem, you start to guess how to solve that problem, and that guessing is the second step for your scientific method. Now, when you guess like, okay, we can do like that, we can do like that, then after you start to perform, you start to think how it is performing. You start to experimenting the things, and when you are experimenting, this is called your, and you are getting some observation, this is called your third step. It means in third step you start to experiment and get some observations. Later on, when you experiment it, you got observations, you get a result, and that result is actually the fourth step of a scientific method. When this result is certified by various or different association by the say which is performing on experimenting the same happening, it is true by every association, then it has become law. So any natural phenomena which is occurring in the universe is have scientific process, and which have 5 steps, as we have discussed. Now again, what is the role of this physics in the society? As you've seen, it is very exciting to know that everything in our universe is actually it is so tremendous because of this physics. As you can listen to me, as you can directly see to me, this is because of the physics, because of the cameras that made by the physics. So a lot of things, like if you want to go somewhere, you need a transportation, you need a vehicle, and how this vehicle is created, or how this vehicle is actually operating, this operation is actually the physics. Today we discuss about the physical quantity and its unit. Basically, in the last topic we discussed the natural scientific law which happened for the natural phenomena, and you see, any quantity which describe the scientific law, which described by the scientific law, is called physical quantity. We classified these physical quantity into 2 parts. As you can see on the board, physical quantity, and then it divided into 2 parts: fundamental physical quantity and the derived physical quantity. What is fundamental physical quantity? Those physical quantities which are independent of each other, which do not depend on other, are called fundamental physical quantity. And those which interdependent, it means which depends on other physical quantity to express itself, is called derived physical quantity. So you can see we divide it into 2 parts according to their interdependence. Again, if I will move to the physical quantity, how we describe a physical quantity? Physical quantity needs 2 things. One, its numerical value, and the other one, its unit. Unit, what is unit? An exact value of a physical quantity which describe it in a certain system is called its unit. As we discuss the fundamental quantities and the derived quantity, so you can see there are certain fundamental quantities which do not depend on other physical quantity to express. Like we have 7 physical quantity which do not depend on other. Like first one, the length. Length is the fundamental quantity which do not depend on others. Mass, time, temperature, luminous intensity, and the amount of substance. These are 7 fundamental quantities which we are considering, which defines the other quantity, but we don't need any other physical quantity to define it. And there are also 2 supplementary quantities which is known as which is known as also plane angle and the solid angle. So in totality, these are certain fundamental quantities. Whenever we need to define any other quantity, we require these quantities to express the other physical quantity. The fixed and definite quantity taken as standard of reference with which other quantities of the same kind are measured is defined as units. So according to a physical quantity, we classified this unit into 2 parts. One is fundamental unit and another one is derived unit. And as we have discussed, we need a frame of reference. Different countries use different criteria, or they have their own reference to measure the things, to measure the physical quantities. Like this, like in India, as we see, we use the length by biga, gauge, and like that. In American, they use meter, kilogram, second system. In Britain, they use FPS system, foot, pound, second system. So in different countries, the unit system are different. So there is a big need ki we go with a single international system which is adopted by everyone. That is called SI system, international system. And in international system, we use fundamental units. For every fundamental physical quantity, there is a fundamental unit which you can see over there. For length, you need meter. This is a standard quantity, the standard unit. For mass, you have a kilogram. For time, you have second. For current, electric current, you have a quantity like unit like ampere. For temperature, you have Kelvin. For luminous intensity, it is candela. For amount of substance, it is mole. For every physical quantity, we have a fundamental unit, and then we use a symbol for that. For like in length, we use L. For mass, we use M. And you can see for time, we use T. For electric current, we use A or I. For temperature, we use theta or T. For luminous intensity, we use candela, CD. And for this amount of substance, we use symbol the mole. Today we discuss about the derived quantities, derived unit. As we discussed in the previous class, what about the fundamental units? We have 7 fundamental units and 2 supplementary units. Fundamental units like meter, kilogram, time, seconds, Kelvin, candela, mole, etc. And the 2 supplementary units are radian and steradians. So derived units are units which depends on fundamental unit for its expression. For an example, suppose we discuss about density. How can we define the density? If we define density, it is given by mass upon volume. If we discuss the unit of mass, it should be kg, kilogram, and the unit of volume is meter cube. So here I can see the unit of density depends on mass and the meter. So here the unit of density is called derived unit. And secondly, if I will see, I can say kilogram ke power 1 and meter ke power -3. Here we want to introduce a term, dimensions. What are dimensions? Dimensions are the power that is raised on the symbols of fundamental unit to express a derived quantity. As like here we can see, we use 1 as a power on kg and -3 on the power of meter. So this 1 and -3 are called dimensions. We use these as a dimensions. Another one, if we take another example like velocity, how can you define the velocity? Velocity will be displacement upon time. What is the unit of displacement? Definitely it is a length. The unit of length is meter. So I have to write meter upon, and the unit, fundamental unit of time is seconds. So I can write seconds. Here it is written as meter per second or meter second to the power -1. Here, as we discussed the dimensions, here the dimensions of velocity is m to the power 1 and s to the power -1. So 1 and -1 are the dimensions that is raised on the fundamental units to express a derived quantity. So I think now you understand what is derived quantity and how you will get it. We will discuss more about some more derived quantity which will be discussed. Thank you.